Borneo Cultures Museum to open on March 9. Sarawak targets 1.2 million visitors this year, and sign language to be taught in kindergarten. Those are the headlines for tonight. Hello everyone, I'm Teguh Salit, and this is TVS Nightline. In an effort to produce more world-class athletes, Sarawak plans to set up a futuristic sports village to nurture and groom potential sports champions. Towards this end, Chief Minister Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg said, has assured that the state government will continue to provide the sector with financial assistance.
Kita membangunkan village atau kampung sokan yang kita wujudkan. Ini bukan belanja yang agak besar kerana Datuk Seri Karim telah pergi ke New Zealand, di mana atas model New Zealand, walaupun populasinya tidak besar, tetapi mereka adalah melahirkan jago-jago antarabangsa. Jadi kalau New Zealand boleh dengan penduduknya tidak besar, Sarawak saya juga fikir boleh walaupun penduduk kita tidak besar.
Abang Johari was speaking at the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Entrepreneur Development Appreciation, Engagement and Collaboration Night on Monday. He also urged Sarawakian youth to participate in the digital economy, noting that it is in line with the era of digitalization.
Kerana kita nak melahirkan usahawan-usahawan dari kalangan orang muda yang kita latih dan setimpal dengan era baru, iaitu era pendigitalan.
With borders reopening and restrictions ease, Sarawak enters on a revenge tourism mode. This year, Sarawak aims to welcome over 1.2 million visitors to the state, generating 3.2 billion ringgit in tourism receipts.
According to Minister of Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts, Datuk Seri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah, Sarawak witnessed an upward of 400% in visitor arrivals in January and February this year compared to the same period in 2021. He added the set target does not only include domestic arrivals from West Malaysia, but also countries with which Malaysia has vaccinated travel lanes or VTLs arrangement with.
Before COVID, paling ramai visitors adalah daripada Brunei. Kalau itu dibuka, it will definitely shoot up. Walaupun mereka menggunakan jalan darat, tapi mereka juga adalah pelancong. They might come in, they stay one night. Even if they stay one night, even if they stay half a day, yes, they will be spending money. They will be spending money. Kalau dia datang for the weekend, they are considered to be tourists. That's why, in terms of visitors, all through the years, it has always been Bruneian yang paling tinggi. Yeah. So, I would say, once the border is open, mungkin Bruneian yang paling ramai. But selain daripada itu, kita menggalak pelancong-pelancong daripada Singapura.
As such, Karim hoped that the tourism sector in Sarawak would revive once the borders are reopened. Karim also looked forward to events and festivals such as the Rainforest World Music Festival, Spartan Race, and Kuching Marathon to make a comeback after being postponed due to the pandemic.
And after years of waiting, Malaysia's biggest museum, the Borneo Cultures Museum, will finally open its doors to the public on March 9. Set to be the second largest museum in Southeast Asia, it will be launched on March 4th by the Yang di-Pertua Negeri Tun Pen Sri Abdul Taib Mahmud.
Dan diikuti dengan satu performance ataupun pertunjukan projection mapping yang akan melancarkan mapping itu ataupun projection ke arah bangunan museum ini untuk menunjukkan sejarah negeri Sarawak dari permulaannya sampai ke peringkat ini. Karena projection mapping, you can do this kind of thing on the building. It is going to be very, very interesting.
The museum was supposed to open at a much earlier date, but it was delayed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The new museum will incorporate immersive and interactive elements for visitors by utilizing audiovisual technology and augmented reality.
Selain daripada itu juga museum ini berlainan daripada museum yang lama di sebelah jalan. Museum ini dia barang-barang yang di showcase termasuk dengan lighting dan sebagainya yang ada interaktif, apa yang kita panggil interaktif, yang mana certain galeri lampu itu boleh mengikut jejak kaki kita dan sebagainya. It's going to be very interesting.
Split into 3 different teams, each level of the museum will showcase different exhibitions. Fully borne by the Sarawak State Government, the Borneo Cultures Museum were built under the 11th Malaysia Plan as part of the Sarawak Museum Campus project with a cost of 323 million ringgit. Bookings to the museum can be made from March 1st onwards. To foster inclusivity, kindergarteners are now being taught basic sign language as part of their curriculum. Women, Childhood and Community Wellbeing Development Minister Dr. Sri Fatimah Abdullah said the subject was already introduced at city-date kindergartens and the ministry plans to introduce the initiative to other kindies in the state.
Fatimah added, early exposure to the sign language would allow children aged 5 to 6 to pick up and communicate with the deaf, adding that the idea came about after the deaf community indicated their hopes for more interaction with others in society.
So we have decided at our ministry to introduce a basic signs language like thank you, and then it's about clapping hands, I love you, okay, decided. Supaya daripada kecil peringkat permulaan iaitu di tadika anak-anak kita tahu tentang tentang keperluan orang yang tidak dapat mendengar ini. Mereka juga mahu orang biasa berkomunikasi dengan mereka dan di sebaliknya. So that is one way how we can make sure that our society is inclusive.
Fatimah revealed that the sign language classes had been well received at city-date kindergartens. At the same time, she said there is a need for sign language specialists and interpreters placed in every kindergarten.
Peninsula will soon have its own smart farming parks with the proposed Sarawak Agro-Technology Park or SATEC in the pipeline. With the adoption of Internet of Things or IoT, the park will allow local agripreneurs in the division to participate in modern farming.
Modernisation of Agriculture and Regional Development Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Stephen Rundi Utom said the project will be implemented under the 12th Malaysia Plan and was given the stamp of approval by Chief Minister Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg. The project will involve facility upgrading works similar to that in Semenggih, which is plagued by delays. Dr. Rundi acknowledged that the project is long overdue as it is still under the research and development phase to determine the suitable crops to be developed and marketed abroad. In addition to developing the agricultural sector, Dr. Rundi hoped that the project would enable the state to penetrate the international market. He said the ministry is now studying the required facilities to ensure that the infrastructure meets the global standard requirements. Earlier, Dr. Rundi officiated the Agriculture Institute of Sarawak's 16th convocation ceremony on Tuesday.
And Malaysia and Australia will be collaborating to develop green energy in Sarawak. Transport Minister Datuk Sri Lee Kim Shin said the collaboration is in line with the state's aspiration to develop green energy towards a digital economy. The matter was discussed between the Minister and Australia's High Commissioner in Malaysia, Dr. Lee Justin, on Monday.
We are talking about areas, we are exploring areas of collaboration and cooperation, especially in education, and also in the field of research and development. I think there are two areas we talk about research and development, which will be very useful to our Sarawak government here, especially under Sarawak government initiatives. That is in terms of our digital economy, and also in terms of green energy, production of green energy. And in the areas of digital technology, I think this is an area where we can really go into research in a big way, especially on big data management, and system and so on. Yeah, where Sarawak now is focusing on. We are moving towards a digital economy.
One of the matters discussed was the development of hydrogen energy in the state.
I think this is an area where there is great potential. Sarawak now is focusing on green energy, and one of the areas is on hydrogen, production of hydrogen. And I raised up the challenge on this hydrogen energy is we need more research in this hydrogen technology and in the production of hydrogen, where we can find new ways of producing hydrogen, and we can reduce the cost of hydrogen, so that it will be a very competitive green energy that can be used not only here in Sarawak, but in other parts of the world.
The Sarawak Government asserts that there are no hidden agenda behind the change of title from Chief Minister to Premier. Rather, it is only a matter of Sarawak practicing its rights as a region which forms the Federation of Malaysia with Sabah and Peninsula Malaysia.
Kita merupakan satu region atau wilayah yang menubuhkan negara Malaysia, dan untuk reflect tu, as a reflection of Datuk kita paksa ubah nama Ketua Menteri kita kepada Premier. Ya aja. Kita sedang niat lain, bukan niat nak mula lebih-lebih, cuma nak tukar berdasarkan status kita di dalam Malaysia Agreement, dan sebabnya perlembagaan kita perlu diubah untuk menunjukkan bahawa kita adalah sebuah wilayah yang bersama-sama menubuhkan negara Malaysia, dan tahap kita bukan sama seperti di Melaka atau Terengganu atau Kelantan atau Penang. Kita sama status sama dengan Melayu.
Hasira spoke during the closing ceremony of the Rabbani seminar held in conjunction with a state-level tilawah and Al-Quran reciting ceremony on Tuesday. On another development, Hasira urged authorities and the public to take drug abuse-related problems more seriously, especially if it involves youths who are serving the government. As the Deputy Chairwoman of the Drug Prevention Association of Malaysia, or Pemadam, Hasira stated drug abuse has contributed to the rise of divorce cases in 2021.
Dari tahun 2020 hingga 2021, di Sarawak dalam masa setahunnya 561 orang dalam data saya itu yang bercerai. Masa pendek ya, jadi ini adalah cabaran yang begitu besar untuk kita umat Islam, dan kita sebab itulah saya rasa seminar macam tu perlu kita pola selalu, dan kita rasa gembira melihat begitu ramai penglibatan kedua-dua kaum bapa, kaum ibu hadir, sebab ini adalah cabaran yang dihadapi oleh kita bersama.
Masuk tahun tu dah masuk 20 tahun. Hanya urutan tradisional. Skill terlampau banyak. Yang kita suka daripada apa yang saya daripada kita yang ada skill.
Dalam kebangkitan editorial di musim kedua.
Ne dur bildik ne durak. Ne bir yaylakta ne bir kışlıkta gün yüzü görmedik.
Penghijrahan Puak Kai terhenti dengan kemunculan serangan tentera Mongol diketuai Baiju Noyan. pergelutan, pengkhianatan dan penentangan. Sejauh manakah keazaman Turul dan Puak Kai demi Anatolia? Apakah nasib yang akan menimpa Halimi, Turgut dan Selcan? Nantikan Turul musim kedua mulai 22 Februari ini setiap Isnin hingga Khamis 9.30 malam hanya di TVS saluran 122 Astro dan MyTV.
This is our world today. Complicated ideas, news saturation, information overload. We'll delve into the issues, break down the stories to see what matters and why it matters.
Your hands are not on the wheel and hasn't used anything. Okay, it's moving by itself. Wow. I just don't get fat.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs has assured the public that there is an adequate supply of the COVID-19 antigen rapid test kits or RTKs in the market, with more than 18 million units available. Therefore, consumers were urged not to resort to panic buying. The ministry said the availability of the RTKs was based on daily monitoring and inspections carried out by the ministry on importers, manufacturers, wholesalers and retailers to ensure a stable supply of the product in the market. According to the ministry, RTKs have been gazetted as a control item under the Control of Supplies Control Goods Order Number 6/2021 on November 24, 2021, which came into effect on December 1st of last year. It added 8 manufacturers that were given conditional permission to produce the RTKs in Malaysia have produced a total of 4.306 million units of the RTKs until February 2022, while a total of 2.34 million units of the RTKs have been imported from 7 other countries. On complaints about the shortage of the RTKs in the market, it said only 3 reports were received so far since January 1st. The ministry said a total of 8,084 retail premises have been given permission to sell RTKs which are recognized by the Malaysian Medical Device Authority. Following that, a survey by TVS found that the COVID-19 antigen rapid test kits are still readily available on shelf, despite worries by consumers due to the rise in COVID cases in recent days.
Kami punya bekalan actually adalah constantly supply, so tak ada masalah macam kurang stok ke. Bekalan memang tak ada problem lah untuk buat sementara ini. Bekalan test kit memang semua ada, ready stock pun ada. Untuk stock test kit actually sepanjang masa ini, sepanjang COVID, especially after Chinese New Year, bekalan memang ada and then demand memang tinggi juga. Tapi tak perlu risau lah sebab stock kit memang ada, sentiasa ada, stock level pun tak ada kurang juga.
For CBRT, she noticed an increase in demand among customers in the past few days, but assured that the supply for the RTKs are in stock.
Okay, mun stok test kit kami orang sitok nang selalu cukup lah. Sebab supplier pun ada stok. Then macam bekalan test kit, macam saliva test kit ataupun nasal pun selalu ada. Tapi sometimes munnya ada ya, semestinya semua jenis ada. Munnya certain yang ada ya kami akan barangkas semua apa yang ada je lah. Munnya sekda ya macam sekda ya akan terus beli je lah. Sebab kini tu test kit tu nang susah untuk dicari. Bukan semua farmasi macam ada stok semua tu lah.
For customer Jim Elson, he realized the low supply of the COVID-19 self-test kits since last week.
Recently, yes. I mean like today especially, went to about 2 pharmacies and they do not have stock. So cuma sitok lah. Itu dia pun paksa ambil something slightly different. Tak pasti, but for today, saliva is very hard to find. I've been to few pharmacy today and apparently banyak yang tak ada stock. So it just so happened that here I found a few. Ia pun only 1 or 2. But good enough lah.
A teacher by profession, he added he needed the COVID-19 self-test kits to ensure his health is safeguarded to prevent the spread of COVID-19 infection to his students.
Basically, apa kami perlahanan with my student is like every week, like say every weekend, we show our test result, like to make sure to their self-check and my self-check too. So we have some, to know our on health status every week. So at least we're comfortable enough to know that Nya healthy, kami healthy, so bolehlah physical pasal my class is all physical class, so terpaksa have to. It's a need lah.
This is our world today. Complicated ideas, news saturation, information overload. We'll delve into the issues, break down the stories to see what matters and why it matters.
Your hands are not on the wheel and hasn't used anything. Okay, it's moving by itself. Wow. I just don't get fat.
Every day has a story to tell. But how well you tell a story is a different story. Let's join Yasu and B to explore the craft of story. You will learn how to structure and craft your idea to create a story to communicate with your audience. You will see a lot of beauty in the craft.
Although the COVID-19 cases had soared over the recent days due to the Omicron variant, Brunei will still proceed with its planned National Day celebration on Wednesday. On Sunday, the Brunei Health Minister said that the Sultanate's 38th National Day will be celebrated on a moderate scale. Our Brunei correspondent Paula Malay Ali has the report.
Negara Brunei Darussalam is certainly having to deal with a lot at the moment as we come into a momentous occasion whilst continuing our fight against the coronavirus. This coming week, February the 23rd, will mark the 38th National Day celebrations, despite the unprecedented surge in Omicron cases over these past few days. National Day will be celebrated on a moderate scale, with only 3,000 people expected to take place in the National Day Parade at Taman Haji Sir Muda Umar Ali Saifuddin next Wednesday. Indeed, a stark contrast to the 25,000 attendees before the COVID pandemic struck. His Majesty Sultan Haji Hassanal Bolkiah and other members of the royal family are also expected to join the crowd in honouring COVID-19 frontliners, a gesture that makes its second appearance on this special day. Now, responding to a question on health protocols at the National Day Parade, Yang Berhormat Dato Dr. Haji Muhammad Isham said ring fencing measures for infection control will be adopted around the area where the procession will take place. In a press statement, the Ministry of Culture, Youth and Sport said children aged 12 and below will not be allowed to attend the National Day Parade, and all attendees must be fully vaccinated against COVID. Antigen rapid test stations or checkpoints will also be set up for the public to perform self-tests. Now, only 230 seats have been reserved for members of the public who wish to join the celebrations. For the past few weeks, though, Brunei has been setting record-breaking numbers of coronavirus cases that were driven by the very fast-spreading Omicron variant. The Ministry of Health reported nearly 10,000 COVID cases this week alone, with a cumulative number of confirmed infections at 32,513. May we pray that our country remains safe and gets better. On behalf of me, Paula Malay Ali, and The Scoop, this is us from Brunei Darussalam for TVS.
And wrapping up TVS Nightline, Paris, one of Europe's noisiest cities, will be utilizing sound radars to combat loud noises produced by vehicles. The system works similar to that of a speed camera. Once it detects loud noises, the radar will send the information directly to the authorities.
On a deux systèmes acoustiques composés chacun de 4 microphones. Ces deux systèmes vont à chaque instant se focaliser sur le véhicule le plus bruyant. Ensuite, on a une caméra grand angle qui filme en permanence la scène et on va être capable dans cette scène de détecter le véhicule. Et si on a une coïncidence entre la position du véhicule et l'endroit d'où provient le son, eh bien, on va pouvoir comme ça suivre le véhicule fautif.
The capital of France installed its first noise radar on a street lamppost in the 20th district of eastern Paris. The system is currently being tested for the next coming months. This would mean no fines will be issued until early 2023, while the government deploys more noise radars in other French cities to test out procedures for automating the fines as part of a 2019 mobility law.
L'idée, c'est effectivement de verbaliser les véhicules bruyants, tous les véhicules, ce n'est pas particulièrement les motos qui sont visées. Donc il y aura un seuil global de verbalisation et l'objectif est de sanctionner principalement des problèmes de comportement. Donc lorsque des gens ont modifié leur pot d'échappement, retiré la chicane ou lorsqu'ils abusent du sur-régime, en gros ils font ronfler leur moteur très fort, ce qui dérange énormément les riverains. Et on sait maintenant depuis plus de 10 ans que les nuisances sonores ont un impact direct sur la santé des populations par des effets cardiovasculaires, l'augmentation du rythme cardiaque, de la tension. Donc ça facilite effectivement l'installation de maladies, l'obésité, le surpoids, le diabète, ce genre de maladies. Donc ça a un effet sur le long terme.
Under the country's existing rules, authorities may sanction owners with noisy vehicles, but they would need to have the necessary equipment and catch the driver in the act. Locals who caught news on the initiative responded with positive remarks.
Oui, si, je pense que c'est une bonne initiative, effectivement. Ça va être plus sur la sensibilisation, c'est-à-dire de pouvoir faire de la prévention et d'en parler largement plutôt que d'aller, toujours pareil, d'aller faire des contraventions et que ce soit ça arrive trop tard, quoi. Donc oui, ouais, c'est intéressant dans ce sens-là. Il faut que la dynamique soit largement connue et que ce soit expliqué à tout le monde et qu'on aille dans le bon sens, quoi, carrément.
Moi, je pense que c'est des gros dispositifs pour pas forcément beaucoup de résultats, parce que à mon avis, ça doit être très complexe quand même à verbaliser automatiquement ce genre de choses, quoi, parce que encore faut-il faire la prise de son, mais après, il faut identifier le véhicule qui est à l'origine de ça, et le photographier. Enfin, je ne sais pas comment se passe après la verbalisation automatique. Moi, je pense que ce serait mieux d'avoir un petit peu plus de policiers dans les rues, quoi, comme il y avait avant et qui ont complètement disparu. Il n'y a plus personne, ni à la circulation, ni quoi que ce soit. Et du coup, ils pouvaient agir sur ce genre de choses-là.
And that's all the time we have for TVS Nightline. For the latest development, head to our website TVSTVMY or follow us on our social media. Once again, I'm Douglas Elliott. Thank you for watching.